All right. So you guys sit down. There's kind of like quiet murmurs throughout the theater. And eventually the lights do slowly dim down, and now the only lights lighting up the theater are the little floor lights that lead up the two aisles on both sides of you going up to the front. And the talking slowly comes to a stop as everyone is eagerly anticipating the beginning of this show, which is called Desire, by the way. I don't know if anybody would, at some point you would have noticed its name on something. Yeah. The curtains slowly open, and in the middle of the stage, you can see there's like a dim light spotlight on the stage. And you can see Ashley, which you know she's the dancer in the performance. And she is laying on the ground wearing a black outfit. So she's changed since you've seen her last. And she's sort of like toward the front of the stage, and toward the back of the stage, you can see the canvas that's been set up, and there's little like buckets, I guess you could say, paint buckets, that have been like placed around this large canvas. It's a large canvas. It reminds you of the canvas that Shark Coochie was made of, that was painted on. I can't say that at that time with a straight face, but it's fine. It's a big canvas. And slowly the lights begin to kind of flicker and change as this music, there's not music yet, you hear this sort of like rumble sound begin to take, and you guys aren't really sure what to experience. No one really told you what this was, other than the fact that they quote unquote paint with blood, but it's not actually blood. Because they take the blood from the people. By the way, before sorry, there's details that I keep forgetting. This is why I should pay attention to my notes. But before the lights would have dimmed completely and the show was starting, there would have been like ushers, sure, yeah. Servers, I guess. There you would have seen people from sort of stages in front of you. There's two like exits here by the stage. They would have started to come in, and they would be passing out drinks to everyone. The first 3 rows obviously get very special drinks. So contained inside of your very fancy glass, it looks like wine, but it is not red wine. It is the blood of all of the people in the seats around you. But they're passing out drinks to everyone. So this looks normal. It looks like at the start of the show, everyone is like sort of getting past a glass of wine. And this is kind of happening before the lights fully go down. Then, now the performance. It took me a long fucking time to think about, you guys. So there's sort of this rumbly sound, and then you hear this like faint sound of rain. And that's when you can see that there's not actual water falling, but there is some sort of effect happening on the stage to make it look like it's raining on the stage. And that's the thunder kind of crescendos, and Ashley rises and begins to dance. She is a contemporary dancer, so the dance that she is doing would be like that type of style. It's contemporary dance. So she begins doing her number and dancing across the stage to what sounds like a thunderstorm. and the it has music now. It's this big crescendo, and there is like a crack of lightning and a large flash on the stage. It goes black, and then when it comes back, she's gone, and Penelope is now standing in front of the canvas with her back to you, and she's sort of just standing there still for a moment. After a few seconds, the music changes, and you hear the sounds of birds kind of chirping in the distance. And the music continues, and as the music continues, Penelope begins to begins to paint. Splashing. She's got this large paintbrush in her hand, and she's sort of like looks erratic in like her movements and the way that she is painting. But she seems to be painting some sort of outline. You're not really sure what she's painting as of yet, but she every now and then is dipping her paintbrush into these little buckets gathered in front of her, in front of this canvas, and she's painting. And her music doesn't match her action. Like, her body language seems very like harsh and hardened, but the music that is playing is really soft, and it sounds like you're kind of like in a meadow, kind of enjoying the spring and, looking at the flowers with the birds. And that's the kind of vibe that the music, and you find it interesting that the polar opposite between Penelope and Ashley is when Ashley was dancing, her movement matched this music, not the chaotic thunderstorm she was dancing to. She's painting for a couple of minutes as the music continues, and then the stage fades again, and it is black. And it flashes again, and Ashley is back, and she is now wearing a red outfit, and the music continues. Penelope is gone, and she continues to dance around to this new music that's happening, and it seems to be a mix of both of the vibes that previously happened. It's sort of got this light, eerie aspect to it, but then also has this sort of dark, hardened aspect in certain points as she's dancing around. And then at one point in the dance, she sort of does this move and makes her way over to the edge of the stage, like kind of where the backstage would be. And she reaches her hand out, and Penelope joins her, and they do a small little number together. Then she sort of like delivers Penelope to this painting, and Penelope begins painting again while Ashley is dancing. And at this point, the music and both of them seem very chaotic, and Ashley is just kind of all over the place, and Penelope's like going ham on this painting. And it's a sight to see. Like, you're really like kind of entranced with like what's happening and the emotion of like whatever is going on. It seems to be like there's some sort of like battle happening. And this continues on for the rest of this number, and the stage fades once again. And then the stage slowly lights up, and this time you see Penelope. And before, she was wearing a sort of like teal colored outfit, and now she's wearing this like really beautiful, elegant white dress. And she begins to slowly paint, and what she's working on now is like more fine details of this outline that she originally started that were way more like kind of chaotic and going all over the place. But she's sort of slowed down and is working on more finer details of this painting she's creating. She's also standing on a stool to make herself taller because she's sort of painting like the top part. And at this point, you can begin to see slowly that it seems to be that she is painting some sort of face at this point in the number, you can kind of see, like, okay, like, that kind of looks like an eye, like, you're kind of, like, putting it together, but it's not a full picture yet. But she seems to be painting some sort of portrait, which you could expect. That is mostly what her work is like portrait paintings. She's now, like, working on the fine details of the hair of whoever this portrait is. After watching her, you know, performing to the music, Ashley enters the stage again, and she is now in all white, just like Penelope. And she begins to dance around, and she actually is focused more around Penelope, than she has been in any other part of the number, except for when they dance together. Most of the dance, she was up near the front of the stage, but this time she's sort of in the back, kind of lingering around Penelope, even, like, taking moments to, like, look up at the painting she's doing and different things like that. The music continues, and then the stage goes black once more. And at this point, before the stage can go black, you can clearly see now that this is a portrait. You're not sure, you don't necessarily recognize who it is right away. But you can tell that it's a portrait of a woman. And the stage dims up, and it is Penelope sort of crouched down, and she's working on something on the bottom of the portrait, which you can't really see because her body's in the way. And the music is, again, sort of chaotic, but at this point it feels a lot more joyful than before, when it wasn't, you didn't get that emotion from it. And Ashley has returned, and she, again, is, like, really elegant and soft with the dancing that she's doing. And as the music sort of crescendos and comes to an end, Ashley ends her dance with, like, she has sort of, like, taken a knee, and it seems to be, like, bowing towards the audience. And Penelope sort of finishes with, like, one last swoop of her hand, and then turns and steps to the side of her portrait, and also does, like, the same sort of bowing sort of pose. And that's when you can see the picture as a whole. And down on the bottom, she is written in this really beautiful script, elegant language, and it's, writing, and it says, "Our beloved." And when you look at it again, that's when you can, now that it is finished, you can recognize that it is a portrait of Catalina that she has painted. And as soon as they both sort of bow, the audience kind of erupts and is encaptured by this whole thing. Obviously, this took, like, an hour. Like, it wasn't, 10 minutes of me explaining. But it took a while for everything to transpire. So, as, like, the audience sort of erupts into applause, like, they both stand and come to the center of the stage and, bow and things like that. And you can see, is anybody look at Catalina? Just curious. Okay.
As
she is.
As soon as, like, I realize that is her portrait, it's just gonna be like,
You would be able to recognize at this point that it was her. And so she is a couple of rows ahead of you, and even some people kind of have stood up and are clapping. But you can kind of see the side of her face, and she's, like, smiling like a proud mother. Like, everything about Catalina tonight is nothing you've experienced at all. You have never seen her smile, for one, but you've never seen her look like this. Like, she looks genuinely happy and proud. And she hasn't stood up. She's, like, sitting there, like, elegantly, like, clapping really softly. She looks almost like a grandma, but she's very young looking, so she doesn't look like your grandma, but you know what I'm saying? Like her mannerisms remind you of like what a grandma, like, oh my baby. And she's just sort of looking up at Ashley and Penelope as they bow before their audience to finish their show. And then the lights come back up and Ashley and Penelope exit the stage and the show is over. And murmurs of the crowd and everyone's excited and talking and everything like that, but the show is over now.
I whispered to Nick, that was really good.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Normally, I'm not into this type of thing, but I can see why you like it.
I love how art can be so raw, you know? Yeah, and like if anybody was like watching, Nyx was like this the entire time. She definitely enjoyed the performance. She stood up and clapped really loud when it ended. I mean, yeah, this is like her shit, you know.
This is her element, like,
Yeah.
especially being a performer. Like, she likes this type of performing. Like, she didn't necessarily do this type of performing herself, but this is definitely up her alley.
Yeah.
So Colette, after everything's done, Colette's gonna kind of stand up and she's chit-chatting with some of the like kindred around you. Even Colette, like everybody that you've ever seen before or have met before, everyone is sort of, there's just a different vibe to like everyone here. You know what I mean? Like everyone's really relaxed, and like even Colette, she's really relaxed. She's laughing, she's chit-chatting, she's small talking, like just things that you've never experienced around these people. And Nyx, you are reminded of a conversation that you had with Colette the night before, when you guys were walking arm in arm at the hotel, as you're sort of watching her carelessly chit-chatting and having a good time and enjoying yourself. And you're reminded of what she said the night before, that she hoped that this event would show you some normalize this life for you, and that not every day is what you've experienced. Not every day is these hardships and these enemies are coming after you and you've got to be on alert all the time and all of this stuff. And that sort of is like flooding your mind as you're watching Colette live what she said. Like, this, you're right. Like, they have lives, and that for the first time for you is sort of clicking.
Sunk in a little bit.
Yeah, like they have lives. They're like people. They're not, you know, like, okay, like I can have a quote unquote normal life and be like this. And that realization is right there in front of you as you're watching all of these hardcore, crazy, intense kindred that you've seen in all kinds of crazy situations, just hanging out in a theater, enjoying a show, enjoying a drink. Yeah, you know it's blood, but regardless, they're enjoying themselves. And you've never seen this in your time of being a kindred. You've never seen other kindreds enjoy themselves how you remember enjoying yourself in your human life.
I mean,
everyone's completely
it's no, I mean, I don't want to, like, I don't think like our being thoughts is like something, you know, but like
yeah.
But there's definitely a lot happening right now. Like Nyx is like content, but there's like there is some worry. Like, she just had some, like, very fucking heavy news, like, just before coming over there. And,
Right.
like, the juxtaposition of, like, that and what she has been going through this entire journey, and the lightness of this event, and, like, kind of like the reminder of, like, hey, like, this could be you if, shit just, like, calms down and gets solved. It's
Mm-hmm.
like intense. So, like, she's probably, like, for both Alejandro and Sparta, like, you can see that she's engaged, but there's definitely something holding her back. Like, she's not as, like, if what maybe, like, Sparta and Alejandro would have expected her to be, completely, like, carefree and, like, not giving a fuck. There is definitely, like, a hint of worry, and just, like, you can see that she's thinking. Like, she's really, like, thinking about shit right now.
I'm gonna turn to Spar and say, I was hoping it would be Slipknot. Not gonna lie. Or maybe Cradle of Filth.
Sparta will look at them both and say, even still, it was pretty fun. Here's to a fun night, and he'll hold out his glass to cheers to him. And then just knock back the whole glass.
Alejandro just puts the glass on the floor.
You don't want that? Nyx, like, says, because she has had a glass, but it's not enough. So, like, you're not having that. I'll take it.
Yeah, just grab it.
Interesting. Are you not hungry?
No, not really. Like I said, Lindsay and them took care of. I mean, while I was.
Oh yeah,
being
right.
held up. So I'm good.
She'll just take the glass and, like, shoot it.
Shot.
Partying it up.
All right. Colette has, as you guys are having your little chit-chatting, Colette sort of maneuvered her way out of the row, and Ashley and Penelope have come from out of backstage, and Ashley's back in her really nice, elegant attire that matches Colette. And they're sort of standing. She joins her in the corner of the room. And once again, there's like a little crowd as soon as they see Ashley. Penelope kind of stands there for a few minutes, entertaining the idea of talking to these people. But after about 30 seconds, leaves her sister to take over what she knows she can do. And you see Penelope walk over and sit down next to Catalina, and they begin to chat. You see Chad come down. He's like walking towards Ashley with like a mission. He's on a mission. He like walks over to her, and you're far away enough to where you can't hear the conversation, but you can see like the gestures and everything. He's very clearly very excited to see Ashley, and Ashley obviously has all activated. She wants all of these people to be obsessed with her, so that goes without being said, I think.
That's great, because that means that Chad is not paying attention to Nyx at this point.
No, he is definitely not. And you see after a couple of minutes, he like hands Ashley a Sharpie, like marker, and he lifts up his shirt.
Oh.
And Ashley's like laughing, and she's just like, ha ha ha, like, and she proceeds to sign his stomach. And he's like looking down at it like, yeah, man. And he's like so excited. His abs
I'm gonna get this tattooed, man.
His abs have
Going
now.
to a tattoo shop, like, right now.
There's probably one
He's
down in the French Quarter. But he now has Ashley Gallio's name written across his stomach. And then he, like, excitingly turns around and makes his way back to his friends, and his friends are, like, high-fiving him. Like, the guys are like, yeah, bro, you fucking did it. Yeah.
I can't believe it, bro. I can't believe that she actually signed your skin, bro. That's
Oh my
amazing.
god, let's go to the fucking tattoo parlor, like, right now. Don't sweat.
Now we got the shower for a week.
Oh god. But yeah, so you can see
Yeah,
Chad.
no, Nyx giggles because she knows what's going on, and I'm like,
And everyone's sort of, you know, people are going to the front to, like, try and talk to Ashley, and she's signing things and talking to people and taking pictures of people and hugging people and all kinds of, again, another situation that you have not experienced. Well, Nyx, per se. I mean, you guys may have seen other kindreds just fucking living their lives, but Nyx has not seen this, and it's kind of strange to you because for a moment it's like you're forgetting where you are and, like, who you are.
Mhm.
Like, everything feels so normal. This is so normal to you because this used to be your life. You used to be that person at the front of the stage signing everybody's shit and signing the hot Chad's abs, you know, like. You're watching it happen, and it is reminding you of the life that you had and the normalism that you had. And most of the people are making their way out of the theater. The fangirls are making their way to Ashley. A couple people do stop to say hello to Penelope, but larger crowd of people are consumed with Ashley.
Sparta will lean over and say, "So what do we do now? Should we go talk to Ashley?"
I mean, you can if you want. I'm gonna follow the crowd and go out and take some air. Like I said, I was hoping for a nice mellow performance.
Somehow I don't think that's their style.
yeah.
Never judge a book by its cover.
True.
I mean, you wouldn't guess Lady Gaga was a metalhead, but she did play with Metallica at the Grammys. Just saying. So I think Alejandro is just gonna start walking outwards and just still be looking at the people.
That's fair.
And Sparta will look at Nick and say, "He still did not listen to a word I said." So what do you want to do? Do you want to go talk to Ashley?
I mean, sure.
Plus, Sugar's here. You could always go talk to him too.
Correct. Sugar is there, and there is a little small crowd around Sugar as well, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but he's not up at the stage where Ashley is. He's sort of off to the side. But there's like a little crowd of people around him, and he's big. He's filling that big old auditorium with all of his energy. But he's not taking away from his mother's spotlight.
Well, I mean, she would probably decapitate him, like, in front of everybody if that happened, I feel like.
This place is named after me!
Yeah, exactly.
Whole Masquerade is because Ashley just goes crazy.
You.
Well, let's go say hi, I guess.
All right, let's go.
Is she still, like, overcrowded with people?
There's probably, I'd say probably about this point, maybe 5 to 8 people kind of standing around. She's probably already, like, she's already done pictures and they're just kind of lingering, you know, those fans that, like, don't get the hint that they don't want to sit here and talk to you for hours. Like, it's time to go. I signed your shit. I took pictures with you. Nice to meet you. Bye. So those like leftover fans are sort of kind of standing with her, around her, talking, small talking.
Okay. Sparta will walk up to Ashley and say, "That was an amazing performance. I've never seen anything like that."
She's gonna look at you and be like, "Wow, you look great."
I know, right? He cleans up pretty well.
Who got that for you? Do you even know who you're wearing right now? She sounds a little condescending again. Like immediately switches back to that like kind of condescending Ashley.
He'll look down and he'll just say, "I had help. Lindsay got it for me."
Oh, right. Okay. Whew. Well, anyway, you look great. Did you guys enjoy the show?
It was amazing. It was beautiful.
Good.
I definitely miss this type of stuff.
Yeah, and you're going to be up there next month. We're going to figure it out. You're going to be doing something. I'm not sure what yet. We'll talk about it. We've got a whole month to figure it out.
I'm excited. I haven't done anything like this in what it seems like forever. So
When you say that, one of the girls that is standing, that one of the fans, she looks kind of young. She looks like she's probably like 18 or 19. She's pretty young. She looks at you and she'll be like, "Don't I know you?" She looks at you and says that.
she looks at the girl and it's like, I don't think so.
"No, I definitely know you from somewhere." And she like looks at her friend and she's like, "I can't. Where are you from? Oh my God. Are you wait a minute. I know you. I've seen you before." And like at this point, all of the fans are now looking at you, all like 5 to 8 of them. There's not a lot of them, but they've all sort of like turned their focus off of Ashley to you.
Nope.
And Ashley sort of can see what's happening, that this girl was probably one of your fans and is recognizing you in some way. And she sort of like steps center again and she's like, "Anyway, thank you guys for coming. I know I'm so sorry about the delay. It was terrible that we had to delay it. But we're so happy that you guys could make it." And as soon as she starts talking, all of them, it's almost like as if they're like robots. They're like, yink. And like their attention is just yanked right back to Ashley. And she's just like,
I'm gonna look at Ashley, look at Sparta, and be like, I'm gonna just like get away and like walk as far away from the crowd as possible.
And as you're kind of like sneaking away, she's continuing to like thank them, like, "I hope you guys have a great night, and if you ever get the chance to come back again, we would love to have you. I've got to get going, you know, there's lots of other things that we have planned for tonight." And she's sort of like trying to get them to get the fuck out at this point. And you can kind of hear that conversation like trail off as you guys are escaping the fans that recognized you. And no one can break their attention from Ashley. Even the girl that originally saw you and was like, "Wait, I know you." They're all fully focused on Ashley once again. As soon as she kind of stepped forward and, "Haha, look at me," started talking again. So you can easily sneak away without them questioning anymore.
I'll whisper to the Knicks, "I think they noted. I think they recognized you."
Yeah, definitely. Or they were about to. I will have to get better at disguising myself.
As time goes on, it'll get easier.
Hopefully.
Once you start to forget.
People will start to forget. Why would you say that to someone?
Yeah, no.
Don't worry, they'll
Nick,
start to
that,
forget.
Like, that just like sunk
Ugh.
in, and she's just like,
Well, Nyx is crying now. Way to go.
no crying.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
cannot cry right now.
Yeah, I know, but
No
like,
crying.
my heart. Oh,
But that hurted.
I felt that.
Yeah.
Damn, Sparta.
Does Sparta notice that it hurt?
You can tell that definitely was not the right comment to be made at this point.
He'll be like, I didn't mean it like that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Today has been intense.
Yeah, it's been an intense couple of weeks.
Yeah, it has. Well, I think that we should just keep an eye out. I feel like all the non-supernatural people are leaving, and you know, as much as I want to feel the lightness of this event, shit, even Catalina seemed like a normal, regular person tonight. Freaks me out even more now. But
It's not
I
crazy. You can't always live in crisis mode. People have their day-to-day lives.
That's true, but I definitely do not feel comfortable right now, to be honest. I want to enjoy this, and I do, but between my niece and the fact that we still have not done anything or found anything, I don't know, Sparta, this just seems too good to be true. And I'm just waiting for something to happen. Maybe, maybe it's just because a lot of things happened. But I just can't shake off the feeling.
Leave? We can get Alejandro and let Colette know.
I mean,
I mean, what do people do at the end of the show at these things?
usually, in the past, I can say that the people that usually remain behind are the VIPs, and there's a bigger party afterwards. So, that's usually what happens. It's the creme de la creme that stays and hang out together, and usually there's networking, but obviously this is a different situation. I don't know honestly what Kindred would do as an after party. I mean,
I've never been to an after party, so I don't even know what they do.
like, I don't know, is there like a Blade type of like underground rave party going on with blood sprinklers and shit? I don't know.
Gotta make a note of that. Blood sprinklers. Good idea.
Come on, it's an iconic scene. Like the rave party where like they're like in this like meat, I think, like factory or whatever.
Fun fact,
I think they actually
the
do
title
that.
sign downloaded.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that's it. Like that scene was really sick.
Anyway, Continue.
Anyway.
I don't know. So, what do you want to do? Because I have no clue what people like this do.
As you guys are having this conversation, Colette and Ashley are gonna make their way over to you after. If anyone, I don't know if you guys were paying attention to them or not, or just talking, but after
I'm
the
looking around
crowd,
because I'm in paranoia mode. So
after the crowd that was around them sort of departed, they kind of had their little private moment together and talked to each other for a few minutes. And as you guys are in the middle of discussing this, they're going to approach you guys, and Ash is going to be like, so, are you guys coming to the party?
she
I'll
looks
look
at
right over
Sparta and she's like, I told you.
Of course you would have a party. I mean, come on.
I just commented that, Ashley. You just came in reiterating what I was saying. So
Sparta will look at her and say, "Are there going to be blood sprinklers?"
And she, like, makes that face that I just made. Like, why would we have blood sprinklers? You know that would, like, ruin everything, right? You've seen
Well,
my
I mean,
house.
it
I'll
doesn't
look
need to be in
next
your
at-
house.
Well, that's where the party is. That's where the party
Oh.
always is. Let's be real.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if you watched the movie Blade, but there is this super cool scene where they are in this rave at a grind, whatever, like factory, and it's a rave, and there's sprinklers filled with blood. Okay, it's fine. We don't need to.
No. Yeah, it's nothing like that. I mean, I have heard of things like that. There is this one lady that does pretty cool events. It sounds like something up her alley, but no, there's not going to be raving and blood sprinklers. I'm sorry to disappoint.
Oh, no disappointment. I was just wondering.
Yeah. She's like kind of appalled, like, what the fuck are these people talking about?
I mean, Ashley, I don't know how kindred do after parties. I know how humans do after parties. I've done plenty of them.
I mean,
And all of this is still really.
a party is a party. Doesn't matter what you are.
Okay, then. Then I should be fine.
There'll be special treats.
Okay.
Has anyone ever told you if, like, you want to feel the effects of, certain things, how to do that?
No, but I think I figured it out.
Okay, well.
You drink from people that are under
Just
the
come to
effect?
the party. You'll have a great time.
Oh, perfect. Well, I guess everybody's going to be there, yes?
Yeah, mostly. Only the people that matter, she says. And with that, she's going to, like, turn around and go up to the front and leave Colette standing with you guys. Colette's going to look at you and be like, yeah, so are you sure you want to do this?
I mean...
It's a whole experience in itself.
Want to go, Nix? Then we can go.
Lindsay said that we didn't necessarily have anything that we needed to do tonight other than possibly follow any leads that we may have with Travis, but I feel like we hit kind of a dead end with that, so...
Yeah, we haven't seen anything, and I haven't really noticed anything tonight.
Yeah, same. It's up to you guys.
It's up to you, Nix. It's not normally my thing, but we all got to stick together.
Well, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go party. We need this. I need this.
Hell yeah. And I'm interested to see what these special treats are.
Oh, they're special, all right. Colette is like, all right, well, let me just check in with Lindsay before we head out. And where's Alejandro?
He left the go check some things out. We can go find him though.
No, I mean, that's fine. I was just curious. Okay, I'm gonna go talk to Lindsay and then we can head out. She's gonna walk over to Lindsay. Alejandro, have you made it? You're out in like the gallery area, I'm assuming,
Yeah,
or
he's
did you
just
go like
standing
outside?
around.
Outside.
Nah. He's in the gallery area, just waiting for people to show up. Just
Gotcha.
looking at, like, kind of side eyeing people leaving.
Okay.
Like looking at them, but not directly looking at them. Just reading human behavioral detective stuff.
Yeah, just watching crowd.
Body language.
Got it. Okay. So as you're sort of watching everybody leave and mingle around in the gallery, the doors are open to the outside, and you kind of start to hear like murmurs of like different conversation that you're overhearing. And you hear some female say, "Oh my God, did you see that car?" And like you begin to hear this conversation that's happening and kind of like piques your interest, and you begin to listen to this conversation. And the girl with her answer is just like, "Yeah, oh my God, like I wonder if somebody like pissed off their ex or something." Like I took pictures of it. I totally put that on Insta. And they're like having this little conversation about some car outside. Something that's happened outside to one of the cars.
Alejandro is gonna go and figure out, see what the hell they're talking about.
Okay. So as you make your way out of the gallery, it's very easy right away to see that across the street, because remember I had described that there was parking along the kind of like parallel parking along the edge of the streets. And you can see that across the street, there's a crowd of people gathered around this SUV. You make your way over closer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Everyone's got their phone out. People are laughing. They're taking pictures. They're posting their stuff on social media. Like hashtag, mad, break your heart, whatever, like all kinds of shit. And as you get closer, you see this SUV, and it's been like destroyed. It really does look like a ex got pissed off at someone and came and beat the living shit out of their car. But as you get closer, you start to notice that there is red writing on the car, kind of all throughout. And as soon as you are close enough, you can make out the words on the side of the car that's closest to you. It says, "We are two."
Okay. Alejandro picks up his phone and just writes in caps, "Come out now,"
To the group text.
to the group chat.
So ding, 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 ding. All three of your phones go off at the same time. You've got a text from Alejandro saying, "Come out now."
Looks at Sparta and Colette and like starts heading out without saying anything.
Yep.
And Colette is kind of like middle conversation with Lindsay, and she's like, I don't know. She's gesturing like she's got to go outside to Lindsay. And Colette begins to make her way out the front. And as soon as you guys get close to like the gallery, especially the exit, you can kind of hear like these random conversations of people talking about it, like their little theories of what's going on. Like, can you believe somebody did that? Like, I would be so pissed. I'm like, all of these little random comments. And you see,
Now on high alert, staring at everything now.
you can see the crowd of people where they have gathered in easily, and you make your way over there. And as soon as you're close enough, you as well, you see this SUV is completely beat up. Somebody had a grand old time, and on the side, along with there are other parts. It's not written only in one spot, sort of written all over the place, but you do see the words "we are too" once you get close enough.
Well, fuck.
I knew they were going to try something tonight.
I told you. I wasn't feeling comfortable with it. Just like sounded like too good. I'm gonna take a picture.
It's Lindsay's
Okay.
car, by the way. Take a picture of it.
Oh yeah, I still have Sense the Unseen on because it's passive. Once I activate it, is there something there?
Nothing
No,
sticks
it's
out.
just like whatever.
Yep. There's nothing that seems to be off or supernatural about any of what's happening.
Okay.
As you guys are kind of standing there taking it all in, you hear somebody call, "There's one over here too." And the crowd like kind of looks in the direction of the voice, and like some of the people like eagerly running over there, 'cause, you know, this is like drama. And they make their way over to where the voice called out.
Same.
Let's go take a look.
And
joins.
you guys slowly make your way with the crowd as you're walking a little bit further down the street. Right before the parking lot that you guys parked in, there is a different car. It's not a car that you immediately recognize. It is a nice car. And it is also all beat up, windows shattered, things like that. And on this one, it says, "You are one."
It's the same bullshit. We're two, you're one. And she's telling whomever is there. I think Colette was there too.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone.
Colette's on the phone now. She's talking to someone on the phone. And she's like telling them, "Hey, maybe you guys like should get out here or whatever." Then is anybody going to look at your car?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like, well, gotta go check our car, I guess. Oh yeah, but as soon as before doing that, I would probably like ask Colette, whose car is this?
You ask Colette whose car it is, and she tells you that this is the car that typically takes Catalina places.
Let's go check our vehicle.
Okay.
Agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys follow, well, Colette's following you because she didn't ride with you. You guys go over to where you guys parked, and this is a little bit further away, so there's not a whole bunch of people here. No one has noticed, but your car, as well as the others, is completely destroyed and all busted up. And on the outside, written in some strange substance, it says, "We will outlast."
Yep, it's the same chanting. It's the same chanting. Completed. The three things that they were repeating over and over and over again. Well, at least this
And the
time
three
they
heavy
didn't ward it
targets.
against us, I guess.
And the three heavy targets. The ones investigating them, the ones giving the order, and the highest of highest.
Yep.
I'm really getting tired of these assholes. If we could just get our hands on them.
But that's the thing, we can't. Alejandro looks over to the humans. Because if they see us, our heads are gonna roll.
Well, this tells me that someone was watching us tonight because they knew exactly where these 3 cars were parked and who they belonged to. And Colette's just, as she says that, she's going to just start, like, looking around.
Same.
Yeah.
Because clearly somebody's watching you guys. They knew exactly where everyone's cars were parked.
Yep.
Colette's going to kind of, like, take a step. She's Colette mode. That's what I'm going to start calling it. All that happy, gushy, sweet Colette you've been seeing all night is gone, and Colette mode has taken over. And she's sort of canvassing the area, looking around, and her phone rings. She's taken like a couple of steps away from you. She's not obviously that far away. You can hear her. She like answers the phone, and she's like, "Babe, calm down. Like, what? Like," and she just starts walking back towards the gallery. As she,
Colette, is there something wrong?
she's completely distracted as she's like talking on the phone.
I'll
We
look
should
at the other.
probably follow. We shouldn't be out here. We're a little bit too far away from the crowd. We're not safe. We need to go.
Yeah, let's go see whatever these assholes have done now.
Also,
Clearly
it would probably not be smart for us to, like, take this car unless we go now. But at this point, we don't know where to go. I don't want to necessarily attract.
Driving around in a destroyed car. Sorry, I just had a visual of you guys like driving down the road, wind in your hair.
I mean, for all that we know, these vehicles could have been trapped. It's not like they haven't trapped a vehicle before.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with any more booby-trapped vehicles.
We shouldn't touch these for sure.
You're following her as you're having this conversation, I'm assuming? Okay. So as you're like following, like Colette has a pep in her step. She's like urgently walking back, and you guys are walking behind her. And you can kind of like make out a conversation. She's like, "Yeah, I'm coming. Like, it's fine. Calm down. Everything's going to be fine." She's like trying to console, obviously, Ashley. And instead of going into the front of the gallery, she turns, and you guys likely hadn't noticed this before, but there's like a small little like gravel dirt path, like that's big enough for a car, that goes in between like the chain fence for that parking lot that you guys were in and the building that the gallery is attached to. And she turns down there to kind of go, and you guys are now behind the gallery, behind the buildings. And you can see a couple of people gathered up ahead of you. And Ashley, like a few vehicles are parked there and whatever. And Colette is a little distance ahead of you guys. She ends up like hanging up the phone, and she gets closer. And as you guys get closer to whatever everybody's looking at, before you can get there, you smell blood. You can smell it before you can get close to see what's going on. So it immediately hits your nostrils before you can even see what exactly is going on ahead of you. And you're not really sure, because you know obviously they had blood in the event. Like you're not really sure what's going on, but everyone seems to be alarmed that's standing outside here. And as soon as you get around, yeah.
Would Alejandro sense what type of blood it would have been?
You would have to have special abilities for that. You can't do that just based off of smell. So as soon as you, like, there's like a car that's sort of in front of your immediate gaze of what everybody's looking at. As soon as you kind of like get around that to get to where everybody's looking, you see that Ashley's super nice black Range Rover is parked there, and it has been beat to shit just like everybody else's. And there is a body that is kind of, its wrists are wrapped and roped somehow to have this body hanging on the side of this car. And the person from first glance does appear to be deceased. And they seem to have sort of been strung up almost as like how Christ was strung on the cross onto the side of this car. And there also is some type of substance, which now you believe that this actual car is covered with blood. And once you get close enough, written along the side of the car and even over part of the body that is roped up there, it says, "Rise, my children." And as soon as I'm not going to make you guys roll for it because I'm assuming everybody's looking at everything. Once you get close enough to the body, the head sort of like slumped, eyes open, throat severed similarly to how you've seen before, and you see yet again crescent moon.
Sparta will look at Nix and Alejandro and say, it had to have been Isaiah. I bet you he was here. He did the same thing.
Could have been Travis.
I don't know if it would have been Travis.
Travis still have access to the city. They're not hunting for him. They're hunting for Isaiah.
But would he say, we know that Isaiah was at the tomb and he said something similar. Would Travis say, "Rise up, my children," if he's serving Isaiah?
Could be to put us off. He could have gotten instructions for how to write it. Could be a decoy.
Let me see. She'll sit
Are there-
down and do her thing. Rouse check. Didn't pass. I'm
It's
hungry.
funny you say that because you notice that next to the car, Imani and her 3 Tremere are crowded around, holding hands, seeming to be doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Something magical.
Oh yeah. So I'm hungry. I went to hunger too. But I passed the hunger check, so you go to fucking jail for tonight. All right. 4 successes, 2 6 and 2 8.
4 successes.
And I'm trying to see what happened, like in that specific like instance. Like I'm there. There's
How
a
did this
body.
get here? Kind of thing. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys see as not Colette, Nix approaches the car and sort of sits in front of. Sorry, did you say you sat down? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I sit
Okay.
down right in front of it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, she sort of sits down, kind of centering herself. You're familiar at this point. You've seen her do this a few times. You know what she's about to do. And Nix, as you center your mind on focusing on what happened to this person, what took place here, the world around you, all of the voices and chatter behind you begin to slowly fade. And in front of you is Ashley's car, but it hasn't been harmed in any way. And you hear voices, but you don't see any faces. And you hear a female's voice and a male's voice. Mm-hmm. And the male sounds really scared. Like you can hear this kind of quavering in their voice as they're having this conversation. And you hear the female speaking, and she says, "My child, it's okay." And that very familiar accent that you remember from Isaiah, it sounds similar. as you're hearing this female speak and console this male voice that you are hearing. And you hear them have this conversation, and she's reassuring him and trying to calm him down and explaining, this is your destiny. And you've come this far. You can't back out now. This has to be something that you do willingly. She's saying this to this voice. And there's a pause, and you kind of hear the male's voice kind of speak up, and he's like, okay, you're right. I've come this far. I have to do this. You're right. And he just like kind of keeps repeating that. And as you're hearing him say this, your vision starts to kind of morph again, and you can see him. And you can hear the woman's voice, but you can't see her anywhere. It's strange. It sounds like she's standing right next to him when they're speaking to each other, but you don't see her anywhere. In fact, where you think she would be, you see some sort of strange shadowy thing. There's no shape to it, but it seems to be perfectly placed. This is the impression that you're getting as he's continuing to talk, and you're hearing this voice respond to him. And just as before, as you saw with when you were at the tombs, when you did your premonition there, you see him sort of lean forward into this strange shadow type thing. And he closes his eyes, and he seems to be resting his head against something. And then as soon as he sort of closes his eyes and has this moment, you hear this awful, and you've noticed that his throat has been slit. And the vision is over.
It was a woman.
It was a woman.
I could only hear her voice. For some reason in my vision, she was this weird shadow figure. It was like she was shadows.
Can people hide in your visions and stuff?
I don't know. This is the first time this ever happened.
Did you recognize the voice at all?
She had the same accent that Isaiah has. But I wouldn't recognize the voice, right? Because
Nope. The memory you have was a nice little old country lady.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I figured it was her.
It's the same lady, but you don't know
I'm
that.
not trying to meta.
Yeah, no. Sadly,
Me as Fenice, I know exactly what's going on.
Sadly, your memory is just a cute little old Margaret.
No, I don't recognize the voice, but she definitely had the same accent, and she was having a very similar conversation as what I saw Isaiah having with that thin blood in my vision in the cemetery. She was telling this guy that he came to this point and he had to do it. It was the right thing to do it.
So she's
And
probably, if she sounded the same as Isaiah, that means they're probably together.
It wouldn't surprise me. That is definitely the first thing I noticed. A very, the strong resemblance of the accent that they both have.
We need to let Lindsay know that whoever it was, they sound very similar to Isaiah. She's probably not an insider here in the city, so nobody's likely to know of her.
Yeah.
And now we have another one that's always one step ahead of us.
Well, maybe that's how they have been one step ahead of us. She referred to him as my child, even though I don't think it was their child, Dirk, but I don't know the message. Who is it referring to? More of the Thin Bloods? Who are the children that have to rise?
See, and that's what I don't understand either.
I don't think we've seen this anywhere.
Why would they be so interested in the Thin Bloods? This just keeps getting more and more confusing.
I agree. Alejandro, what do you think?
Alejandro is literally with his eyes closed at this point, just trying to wrap his mind around things. Well, there are certain vehicles targeted. We know who they're targeting by fact now.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be targeting Ashley. They're going to be targeting Penelope. They're definitely targeting Catalina, Lindsay, and us.
If it's a fight they want, I wish they would just come out.
Nah. They're playing it smart. They're playing it extremely smart. They scout, they wait, they act. They knew that everyone big was going to be at this party. And they knew everyone was going to be busy during the performance. So the likelihood of this happening during the performance is extremely high at this point. What I'm curious about is why they targeting Thin Bloods to do their dirty work, and how do they keep them in control?
I don't know how they're controlling them, but they're definitely cowards.
There could be one opportunity.
What do you mean?
They could be doing a blood bond with the Thin Bloods to keep them under their control.
I think Thin Bloods actually don't.
Yeah, out of
This is
character.
the off game.
Yeah, Thin Bloods can't be blood
Yeah,
bonded.
they can't be blood bond.
That's why in Nyx's vision, she says you have to do this willingly.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things. So with Thin Bloods, there's a lot of things that they actually can't be manipulated in some of the same ways as regular kindred. So
yeah.
Anyway,
I just need to reread.
That's okay.
There are a lot of opportunities. They could be promised things, powers.
From what I know, it seems that both visions have something in common, which is the willingness of these Thin Bloods to do what they're doing, to sacrifice their own lives for whatever cause they're fighting for. I don't even know.
It's
Know where one of them are.
Here's the thing. Isaiah and whoever else is in his team, or whatever you want to call it, are more than likely extremely well spoken to be able to kind of like pull them into being willingly to do this stuff. Kind of, it has kind of a weird historic thing. If you guys think back to the 1930s and a certain Austrian fella, he was well spoken.
Certain Austria fella. I'm sorry.
Hitler was well spoken and he knew exactly what to say to get people to go with him.
Yeah, and considering
guessing-
that my daddy is the Toreador. I can definitely tell you that, yeah, manipulation, it would definitely be one of his strongest suits.
We know where one of them
Mhm.
is. At that hotel room. When you guys went in, something strange happened. I say we go
What?
kick the door down and get some answers.
What exactly happened there? Next.
I told you. Me and Colette went in. It was a mid-50s, like, year old lady. She was having dinner, some jambalaya. She was watching the news. She muted the news when we got in. We sat down with her. She told us a little bit about herself, that she's a professor, history professor that was here for a conference. And she told us about like the places that she likes to visit, because we were trying to, at that point she asked us why we were there. So I thought it was, just maintain the fact that we're tourists and, we're looking for places to go to and see. And that's what we talked about. And then I got out and just saw Lev and Sparta, and then you were gone, and I don't know what happened. I just know that Sparta was freaking out. There were a bunch of people there for no reason.
Sparta,
Yeah.
walk with me for a second. Give us a second, next.
Okay.
Sparta will walk away with Alejandro.
Nyx, real quick, now that you're kind of alone and looking around, you notice that toward the building, Ashley, Colette, and Penelope are kind of like huddled together. Lindsay's off to the side with Lev, and Catalina is surrounded by 5 or 6 people. They're like very, very
We're playing Protect the President.
tall men and women, like the guards that you've seen at the place I can't say. One of these days, Elysium, are surrounding her, and she's sort of standing. She looks kind of bored. Like, the look on her face, like, she looks like, like, you gotta remember, this lady's centuries old. She's, this kind of stuff doesn't necessarily faze her. But she's being protected nonetheless, and she's being surrounded by these people. And you notice that in front of the car, kind of pretty close to where you are, is where Imani and her little 3 Tremere that are always with her are standing hand in hand, and they're chanting something. You're not really sure what they're doing, but you remember them doing something like this that day at the farm when you saw them in the backyard with Ronaldo. They're doing something similar to that, and they seem to be doing some kind of weird magic stuff that you don't necessarily understand or know. So that's sort of the scene that you're kind of taking in around you. Since the unseen passive, or is it one scene?
Passive.
It is passive. Hold on, let me check.
Cost free.
It is passive. Okay. So is it like all where it stays up until
Until I want, yeah.
Okay.
Until I'm like done with it.
Okay.
Or like if I want to activate another, like I can activate two. I can use like two things at a time. So for example, if I wanted to activate fleetness and I was doing something else, then like it
It
would
would
probably
drop.
like drop. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So as you're sort of looking around and noticing just your surroundings and looking at everything on so where her car is parked, it's kind of like up against a chain link fence that goes around the back area of this. And you sort of look at the car for a minute and then something catches your eye off in the distance, just kind of above the car. You see some sort of light that doesn't look natural. Sort of glowing in the distance. The behind this area is like a wooded kind of foresty type place. It's not super heavily wooded, but there's trees and things, but sort of in the distance you can see this white figure. And you can't really make out too much of it. Of like, what is it? Is a person? Is it doesn't have one particular shape, but it seems to be drawing you in. Despite sort of everything happening around you and any normal reaction that you'd have, typically you'd be like, hey guys, like there's something over here. That's not your response. You sort of see it and are kind of entranced by it and are feeling drawn in to this strange light that you see in the distance. And you do slowly begin keeping your eyes locked on it. You do slowly start to walk back towards like where the exit around this fence that's sort of blocking you from getting to where you want to go. And you begin to slowly walk. Not noticeable necessarily. You look as if you're just casually walking. That's what everybody else would see as you keep your eyes locked on this strange light. So guys, go ahead. Continue.
Okay, Sparta. That night when we were checking out the hotel, I was standing in the back. I was keeping an eye. You went close. Did you see those three guys that came? Where the fuck were they standing?
They were standing right in front of the door. And the girls, when they came out, they said they didn't even see him. And as soon as they came out, the goons walked right inside.
How the fuck do you miss King Kong and Godzilla?
That's what I've been saying. That's why I was
Those
saying.
guys were fucking huge.
That's why I said something weird happened in there.
I look around.
I think it's a good idea to go back in there and get some damn answers.
No, wait. Colette is busy.
As you say that, you look over to Colette, who looks semi-annoyed because Ashley is like blubbering. She's not crying, but she like has that sound in her voice as if she was like crying. She's like, Ashley's like throwing a hissy fit that her car is messed up. That's all she seems to really care about right now. She doesn't actually care about whatever is going on. And you can tell the look on Colette's face is it's taking literally every fiber of Colette's being to not be like, shut the fuck up, woman. We have like bigger things to deal with in your stupid fucking car. You know, you could have like 17 of those cars if you wanted them. So that's the look in Colette's eyes right now as she's consoling Ashley.
Alejandro looks at Sparta and says, you were there. I was there. Levy was there. I see Levy and Lindsay talking. Should we go and have a chat with them? Because this... How the fuck can you miss those three fucking goons?
That's what I was saying.
Doesn't make fucking sense.
Something weird happened inside there. They met, like, whatever happened, it messed with their minds. But I agree. We
Okay,
need to get we need to get Colette. We need to get Nyx, and we need to go talk to Lindsay and see what she wants us to do.
I
Again, out of character, we wouldn't have been able to see it. We were outside, we got ushered out, and we didn't see them coming in. And once we got out, they got in.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it was literally impossible for me and Colette to have seen anything. We
No, they
had
were
just
posted.
been.
Like if you came outside the door, they were posted at that door, so you would have had to have walked right past them.
It's because their memories have been altered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were told not to remember
To
what
not
was
pay
going
attention,
on.
Yeah.
So in their
Exactly.
minds, there was no guys there. They don't know what
No
you're
guys
talking
there.
about. They're like, I don't remember that shit.
Yeah, Sparta, I think. I mean, you saw it. 3 goons. We both saw those 3 goons. I'm pretty sure Levy saw the same thing.
He did. He's the one that told me not to go in.
Let's go and talk to Liv and Lindsay. Something is not right.
All right, let's go grab Colette and Nyx.
No.
I don't think you want to talk to Colette right now. Colette is preoccupied.
let's you and me go and talk to Lindsay and Levy. Because right now it seems like we're the only fucking sane ones that did see those 3 fucking goons.
All right, let's go talk to her.
You walk over to Colette and she's like, I want to fucking hear. Whatever your problem is, figure it out.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Like I'm saying that's what would happen if you probably walked over to Colette right now.
Let's move over to let's go to Lindsay.
Okay, so as you guys walk up to Lindsay and Lev, they're like in mid conversation. And you hear like the tail end of what she's saying, and you hear her say, yeah, we need to gather them up as soon as possible. And you kind of catch her eye, and she's like, oh, wonderful. Come here, guys. And she just kind of looks directly at Alejandro. And she's like, it's very clear that, I mean, we've known this for a few days now, that the Thin Bloods are most definitely involved and whatever is going on, and we're not going to sit back and wait for anything else to happen. So we will be gathering them all up.
Lindsay, if I may, there's something that is not adding up for us.
Mm-hmm.
From that night we were at the motel, before whoever snatched me. We had 3 goons walk. Sparta says that they were standing right in front of the door. Nyx has been telling Sparta that she didn't see anyone, but these guys were huge. Like, you couldn't miss them. Something is not adding up. And from what Sparta is telling me, Colette is saying the exact same thing, that they didn't see anyone. Levy, you saw those 3 guys, right?
He nods.
3 big fellas.
Couldn't miss them.
I saw him. Sparta saw him. Something is not adding up.
Lindsay, perhaps if you want us to, we can go back to the hotel room and go in and confront this person and try to get some answers.
Lindsay like holds up her hands and she's like, okay, I don't always tell you guys what I'm thinking. Don't always tell you guys the conclusions I come to. Sometimes you don't need to know the information, or you don't need to know the information right now. I am in the understanding of Nyx and Colette's minds clearly have been manipulated in some way. The name she gave to them is the name of my sire. I know what's going on here, and I know that they were manipulated to think and believe a certain thing, because there is no way that my sire was sitting in that room telling them tales of being a history professor. So, there are a few things in order. We have already gone to the hotel room. That was the first thing that I did as soon as I got into the car and left your house. No one is there. There's no traces that anyone has been there. We spoke to the woman running the hotel. She says that room has not been rented out in months. Clearly, whoever was there has already cleaned up and removed any traces of them being there. Part of my job is having people that trust me and know that ultimately I know how to do my job better than probably all of you together. There are leads we are following and have been following since all of this started. Sadly, the hotel is now a dead end. However, we can focus on hopefully what will not become another dead end in tracking down these people that we now very clearly know are involved and getting whatever answers we can get from them.
What do you want us to do?
She looks at Lev, who just immediately starts to text on his phone. They do that strange not talking thing again. Excuse me. And he sends you, Sparta, a message with 3 addresses. And she says, these are the 3 addresses that we need you guys to go and look at. We have another party going to other addresses as we speak. And we are rounding up all of the known thin bloods in our city.
Do we dead or alive?
Alive.
Sparta, count to 10.
She's like, how in the hell am I going to talk to a dead person, you idiot? She doesn't say that, but you can see...
Alejandro face palms. He just face palms. He's thinking to himself, like, I've been saying the same fucking shit. No one is good to us. Dead.
I mean, I know we can do things, but talking to the dead isn't necessarily one of them.
Lindsay, do you perhaps have a couple of extra handcuffs?
Sure. I have anything that you guys might need. Just tell Lev, he'll bring you by. There's a whole supply room, so to speak.
Just give us a couple of extra handcuffs. I got my gun on me in my inner pocket here, so.
Okay. Lev is gonna walk away, and then he like hesitates for a second, and he comes back, and he says to Lindsay, have we searched the vehicles? And you can like hear an urgency in his voice. That it's just dawning on him that their vehicles were tampered with, and they probably have all sorts of fucking shit inside those vehicles. And she sort of like looks at him and lifts an eyebrow, and he just turns around and urgently starts walking away. Like, fuck, I didn't do that.
What is this, amateur hour? What the fuck?
Lindsay.
Listen, there's a lot going on.
Lindsay, do we take Colette and Nyx with us? With the situation as is right now?
Well, yeah, they're just because their memory of what took place in that room was modified doesn't mean anything else about them has been modified necessarily.
Well, Colette seems kind of pissed. Would you mind?
She looks at her and says, "Colette." And Colette immediately like straightens her back and looks over at Lindsay. And even Ashley like stops talking and like looks. And Colette just walks over. Yeah?
Let's go and grab Nyx.
Okay, when you guys say that, you notice that Nyx is nowhere to be seen.
Rip.
Where's Nyx?
She was just right there by the car. He'll immediately like look around and try to see if he can spot her.
You don't see her anywhere.
Wait, Sparta, don't you have something you can use?
Yeah, you can track, bitch.
I'll immediately try to track, but with all the people around, it's probably not going to be very easy.
I mean, if you really want, like, I am definitely wearing a perfume. You have smelled
I mean,
me.
you've been real close to Nyx all night long. You were arm in arm with her. You're also familiar with her smell enough to where it might take some concentration because, like you said, there's lots of people, there's blood, there's lots of things around that maybe will distract you, but it just means it would be like a higher difficulty based off of everything.
I am like wearing a fragrance, let's say like a perfume.
You
like
can expect that Nyx always smells real nice.
Yeah. I always take a shower, and I always have.
I always take a shower.
A few signature like perfumes that you have smelled on me, like that are familiar to you at this point because we've been hanging out and living together. So.
True. Yeah, I'll try to track her.
Okay.
Is that wits and survival or
Yeah, I think it's wits and survival.
Yeah. Also, as soon as you guys notice that she's nowhere to be found, Lindsay activates Daunt, and you can feel that familiar feeling coming, kind of radiating off of her as she's now even more alert, realizing that somebody in the party is missing. And she's kind of scanning the area, looking around.
Not just somebody. Just putting it out there.
Just somebody, you know, no one important.
Just like somebody.
Somebody slipped away.
Okay, let's see. Fail on the hunger dice.
It's okay, you just need like
One success. Can I use a willpower to re-roll?
You always can use willpower. You can roll up to 3 dice that are not hunger dice.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you have willpower that is available for you to use, which you do.
Three successes.
That's better.
All right.
So it takes you a couple seconds longer than normal to kind of focus and kind of get out all of the other scents and things that are sort of flooding your senses right now. But eventually you do. Oh, I have the hiccups. Hold on. Eventually you do pick up on that familiar scent. It's faint, but you do pick up on it and kind of perk up a little bit, and you begin to follow it along the chain link fence. That's where it's the direction it's coming from.
I'll immediately look over at Alejandro and wave him over and say, she went this way.
Let's go.
Okay. So, as you guys are as you're following the scent of Nyx, it sounds so weird to say, but it sort of takes you around the chain link fence, and the direction that it's headed is directly into the woods that are behind this area.
I'll look at Colette and Alejandro and I say, let's go, and start running towards the woods.
Alejandro in run activates Dawn as well.
Okay. Lindsay did not follow. Sorry, what?
I'm also going to activate resilience and toughness.
Okay. Lindsay did not follow you guys, just so you know. Colette followed you, but Lindsay stayed back where everybody else was. And you guys are now, all three of you, sort of in step with one another, running into the woods to see what's going on. As you're running into the woods, the smell is getting stronger and stronger, indicating that you seem to be possibly getting closer. You're sort of just following your nose as you continue on your way.
Doing my wolfy shit.
Yep. One second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go ahead and roll again. Roll your wits and revival. Oh my god. Whatever. Revival. It's a revival. Hallelujah.
It's a revival, hallelujah.
All of a sudden, you
Resurrection.
see a bunch of people chanting and praising God in the middle of the forest.
Dude, that would be so fucking scary. I'm not even gonna fucking lie, dude. That sounds terrifying.
That does sound terrifying. I would not
Fuck
want to run into that.
I would not want to run into that.
Like, nope, I'm out.
I'm like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
3 successes.
3 successes again. Okay, so you smell the strong scent of perfume, but you smell another scent that's mixed with it, and it smells sweet, and you can't really place it right away. And it smells like sweet, and it reminds you of blood, but not. It doesn't smell like human blood, but it does remind you of blood. But it has this sweet aroma that's almost inviting to you as you smell it. And just as strong as the perfume smell was, now this strange, metallic, sweet smell is mixing with it.
As we're running, I'll kind of glance back and tell them she's not alone. There's somebody else with her.
Okay, I'm pulling out my gun.
Okay. All right. No one can. By the way, it's quite dark, so
I will activate Eyes of the Beast as well. I forgot that it was dark.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that, but Colette and Alejandro are kind of doing their best, but their eyes
like,
are adjusting.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
They got their iPhones out.
What are we? What do we do? Where are we going? I mean, there's still these guys, so like, there's something, you know.
At this point, they're just following the giant in front of them.
Exactly. So you guys are kind of running through, and it is getting a little bit more congested as you're running through. And all of a sudden, you hear and Colette saying, "Ah, fuck!" And Colette has just ate shit because she tripped over something she couldn't see. And Sparta, do you look at her? I'm assuming you kind of would stop for a second.
And I say, "Are you all right?" But I'm not going to stop.
Okay, when you glance back, you see a big ass like tree branch that is like laying sideways that she has just tripped over. It's kind of funny, you know, in this situation, but she's like stumbling back up to her feet. You also have to remember she's wearing all of you are wearing very fancy suits right now.
Very nice suits, yeah.
She's like, this is going to cost a fortune.
I'll yell back, "Catch up," and just run even faster.
Okay, so Colette has now caused some distance between her and you. And she's having some difficulty even really figuring out where you are.
Why the
So
Alejandro's gonna look at like say to Sparta, how is it looking behind me? Is it a clear road?
Okay.
And how far is Colette?
She tripped on a tree.
Approximately how many yards?
At this point, would you say like maybe 20 yards?
I mean, she's not super far away. She's not that far. Sure. 20 yards.
Colette's gonna hate me for this. Alejandro activates fleetness and picks Colette up and catches up with Sparta.
Well, where were you? Because you weren't next to Colette. You were up with Sparta. So are you going to run back and get Colette?
Yeah.
Okay. You turn around, activate fleetness. Okay. Fleetness is not a
It's automatic, but it's a rouse check.
It is a
and
rouse
if it's
check.
freaking super dark and there's shit around, probably dexterity and athletics roll.
Yeah, rouse check, please. And yeah,
See if Alejandro also don't eat shit as well.
I need you to roll, just like she said, dexterity and athletics.
Comes a comedy sketch.
This is a comedy sketch, guys. Like, there's like vampires falling left and right.
I got
And
one
like
crit.
fucking Sparta, the only one that can see is just like, fuck it!
You got one success? Okay.
One crit success, yeah.
Okay. So Sparta, you are hearing Alejandro say something to you about Colette, and then he poofs away from your vision, and then you hear in the distance behind you another fuck! And Alejandro, you have just ran straight into a fucking tree.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I am done with this coterie.
So
I swear
now
to
our
God.
group is literally all spread out because Alejandro's about
Bunch of
midway
idiots.
between Colette and Sparta because he didn't even make it all the way to Colette before he smacked into a tree. And Sparta's the only one that can see anything. So, are you still running towards Nyx's scent?
I'll just sigh and I'll look back and I'll say, I'll make some noise, pick yourself up, use your phone for light, and catch up. We got to get to Nyx. And then I'll keep
right.
going.
As you see that in the distance, kind of further away from you, you see it ding, shining on the ground. Colette.
And I'll just making loud noises so that they know the direction that I'm going in and just keep running.
Colette's like shining it all around. She's like, this isn't very smart. She's saying she's like slowly getting,
no, seriously.
she's like
this is so...
getting a little agitated because now the reason she wasn't using her phone is because it gives away her position, but she has no other choice at this point because she can't fucking see. So now Colette has completely
Now Sparta
slowed.
is also making fucking hella noise. I'm like, how is this smart? What are people not fucking thinking?
So Colette has slowed to a very slow walk as she is stepping over things that she can now see,
Fucking scream.
making her way in the direction she thinks Sparta is going, based off of the noise that she can hear in the distance.
And now that Sparta's, like, now that they're not with him, now he's just in hunt mode and he's going full tilt.
I can respect that. He's like a dog when they catch a scent. It's really hard to stop a dog when they catch a scent. They know what their mission is, and their mission is to get that Scent.
This is his element. He is a hunter, so now he's 100% focused.
Okay. So, as Alejandro, do you turn on your light or have some sort of light source?
I just I turn it on just to signal the SOS signal towards where I think Colette is.
So you flash it towards Colette?
Yeah.
Okay. As you do so, you're watching you can't see Colette because the light she's shining is mostly shining on the ground. You can like see her feet every now and then kind of like getting into the light, but you can't necessarily see her body or anything. And as you're kind of like flickering it like, hey, I'm over here, like come this way and whatever, you can hear her, you can see her getting kind of closing in the distance. And she says out to you, she's like, I swear I don't know how we live through these. And as soon as she says these, all you hear is just this like impact, and you see her light fall to the ground. And her sentence is cut off, and you can hear her saying she's now like tussling in the grass, and that's like all you can hear in the distance. It's kind of like grunting, I guess that's the right word.
I flash my light towards where I think Colette is to see what the fuck happened.
Like,
You can't see anything, you're too far away. And you hear her say, get the fuck off me!
I run towards that sound. I run towards where Colette is.
Okay. It's dark, dude. It's real dark. So you're trying to follow her voice, but you can't see anything. Are you still trying to use your light to look? Or
Yeah.
okay. I mean, you can see like the trees and different things like that. You can hear like the grunting and sounds of a tussle and a fight going on. And then you hear a gunshot.
Shit.
And you just hear like the sounds of like, oh, like grunt, like someone's obviously just been shot. As you alert your attention in the direction of the gunshot, because even as you were running towards the sound, you were just a little bit misguided, and you turn to the left to correct your vision. You see a orange glowing something ahead of you, coming from the same direction of the grunting.
Alejandro's eyes just like open wide, and he starts going towards that light.
Okay, give me just a second. 1, 2, 3, 4.
great idea. That's exactly how people die in horror movies. Separating from each other. But I guess nobody
me, if it wasn't your damn fault.
I've seen this movie before.
My fault. I've been like fucking hypnotized or some shit. It's not my fault. Do you think I like to do this?
Okay. So as your attention is alerted towards this direction, you hear this awful, awful screaming happening. And you can tell immediately that it's Colette. And she is screaming, panting, like she's full frenzy at this point.
Fuck.
And you're getting closer. You're getting closer. You can kind of like see the tussling of the branches and things around her. And it does take you a few more paces, and you eventually close distance. And now in the light from your phone, you can see Lindsay on the ground, and she's got a gaping wound in her stomach, and she's holding it and just rolling around. She's like completely out of her mind, yelling, screaming, grabbing her stomach, and you can see this faint orange glow coming from her wound.
Now, if she's screaming like that, would I be able to hear her?
Oh, yeah. You're not that far away from her. You heard the gunshot, too. I mean, it's a gunshot.
If I heard that, I would immediately stop and turn around.
That's where we're going to take a break.